Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. Sit down with me and pour a cup of your favorite drink, and let's learn how to save money by regrowing veggies from scraps. This video is for people with gardens and without. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Reason I like to regrow some of our food from scraps. I live in a condo and I don't have any land to garden with, so I do what I can with what I have. This makes for a fun and delicious fence that can be regrown from trimmings, and we've tried many of them. Some are more successful than others. And given that I don't know how to garden, these are the 4 vegetables that I've had the most success in regrowing. For romaine lettuce, it is important to use lettuce with the bottom that is intact, like the one shown here. This will give you the best chance of success. The second one is cut into, and it will not likely grow in my experience. Cut off the top of the romaine lettuce, but leave about 1 to 2 inches on the bottom. And place in water so that the water goes up to the middle of the trimming. This grows really quickly, and all we had to do was change the water. This is our favorite to regrow because pretty much every morning you can see the growth that it goes through, and it's a really fun conversation piece, especially with kids. You can transfer them to soil after about a week. This one is about 10 days old, and I find that these can be a little bit bitter, so I do boil them with noodles and then eat them that way. It's not good to eat raw. Green onion is very easy to regrow from trimmings. I cut mine fairly tall with about 2 to 3 inches left at the bottom and just snip off what I need from the top. I change the water daily on these because I find that they can become kind of slimy and smelly, but this is what it looks like after only a few days. Bok choy is another fun one. It's one of our favorites. Cut off the top and leave about half an inch to an inch at the base. Just like the romaine lettuce, be sure to choose bases that are intact. After a few days, it will start to root and several small bundles start to sprout out. You can plant them in soil, and we love these in our soups with noodles. Carrots are by far our favorite vegetable in this house, and we eat the carrot tops too. Just like the bok choy, cut off all but half an inch to an inch at the bottom. And for carrots and bok choy, I use this same shallow container to keep the bases covered in about a quarter inch of water. I just changed out the water every 3 to 4 days. These are the most resilient, and once they start growing, man do they grow fast. This is what it looks like only after 1 week. The carrot tops make for a really delicious pesto. I don't know if you've ever had carrot top pesto, but it's really delicious, easy, and versatile. Here I'm taking the tops from the 3 carrots that I regrew, and I'm roughly chopping them. This yielded about a cup of greens. These taste a little bit like parsley to me. I find that the ones that you regrow from scraps are much milder in flavor than the ones that you purchase at the store. Now that I have my carrot tops roughly chopped, I just add them to my magic bullet, and of course I want to get every last bit into that cup. I also added the juice of half a lemon, and I totally forgot to use my sieve here, but luckily there was only one seed that fell out that I was able to easily pick out. Now I'm adding about a quarter teaspoon of salt, and a clove or two of garlic at this point would be great to add as well. But I chose to opt out of that, and I'm just adding a little bit of coconut oil. This is about 1 teaspoon. Then I place the lid on the magic bullet and shake while blending. Once the carrot tops are chopped a bit, then I add about 1 cup of cilantro and 2 tablespoons of oil. Adding them in batches this way makes everything easier to blend. Once it's smooth like this, then it's ready to go. There's really something about those carrot tops that makes this extra tasty. It's got a really bright, fresh flavor that's really great on sandwiches. Here, I transferred ours to a glass jar, and you can store this in the fridge for 3 to 4 days. Those carrots just keep giving. Even after being cut off, they continue to grow when placed in soil. You can see why they're our favorite. Green onions from scraps are milder in flavor and are great added raw to dishes. Bok choy and romaine are excellent boiled in just with noodles. This is a bowl of buckwheat noodles with the regrown bok choy, flavored with soy and a dash of sesame oil for a quick, easy, delicious dinner that highlights all the tasty regrown scraps.
14-day update. Check out the growth and the roots on some of these scraps. This is a pineapple top and a piece of potato. So I actually have a pineapple plant that's about nearly 3 years old, and it was started from another top scrap just like this one. So I usually just submerge it in water, and once these little roots get to about half an inch to an inch long, you can go ahead and plant it in a pot, and I use a cactus potting mix. Now potato pieces, just make sure each piece has at least 2 to 3 eyes. These are the eyes that will grow new plants for you, and you'll get new tubers or potatoes in about 3 to 4 months, depending on the variety. Now just make sure each piece is about 1.5 inches thick, about the size of a golf ball. Here's a celery, leek, and check out the roots of this one. Spring onions, they're about 12 inches tall now. Bok choy, check out the romaine lettuce. And here are the onions. I have a second one growing there that I cut lengthwise about a week ago, and it's doing much better. Look at all those roots. Since I didn't cut the top off entirely like this one, it has more stored energy that this little plant will feed from, and eventually it'll shoot out the leaf blades on top. Here are the carrots, and there are some roots in there too. Look at that. There's tiny ones in that orange one. Check out the roots on this bok choy scrap. Nice leaves. Here is the leek scrap. Look at those roots. So these are all vegetable scraps except these rosemary cuttings that I'm trying to root. Now, if you ever buy those packs of herbs from the grocery store, you can propagate those as well, root them, and you'll get some free plants. So I've got some spring onions. These were planted about, I think, 3 days ago now. These were planted about I believe 7 days ago, and some of them have been here for about, I think, 2 weeks, and you can keep harvesting these leafy greens about 3 to 4 times before they start to set flower and then go to seed. These are the onion scraps. So again, more leafy greens that you can get from them. Celery bottoms, get to harvest some of these leafy greens and stalks before it sets flowers. And I've got this bok choy scrap that's actually starting to flower. So I'm going to let this keep growing and produce some seed pods for me, so we'll get some free seeds. So these scraps were planted last fall. This one is spring onions. And it is sending out a flower stalk. So we'll get some seeds from that. This one is celery. Look at that, guys. Check out all the stalks. So this celery overwintered when I planted it. I think it was back in October, and it's just starting to produce more foliage. But you can harvest these greens and foliage. Look at that, guys. And again, it'll send a flower stalk, and we'll get some seeds. So it's been about 3.5 weeks since I planted the scraps in this container. Unfortunately, something's eating the bok choy. But you can see that the celery scrap has grown. Lots of leaves, carrot tops, spring onions, onion scraps, and the leek was dug up by a squirrel, so that one died. And the romaine lettuce was dug up as well. These carrot flowers produced some seeds for us last year. We also got some seeds from onion flowers last year that were grown from scraps. So here's the pineapple plant that I started 3 years ago from a pineapple top scrap. Look at this. It is over 3 feet tall, so we might get a fruit this year, if not, hopefully next year.
Thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have a garden of your own, what are some pros and cons you've experienced on your journey?